All right, Shalom. Before I start, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Ruach Kwadash. I'd like to say double honors to my teachers, the men that taught me this truth, the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, that rule well and teach well, and also Shalom and salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, so I'm the brother Shaquat from Great Millstone, Montreal, with another lesson, and this lesson is going to be a continuation on the lesson I did yesterday, but touching a different aspect of the same lesson, because the one I went into yesterday went into the spiritual aspect of what uh, a surety meant, and that surety was through Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai was the one that became, like I went into the word surety, a covering, a surety meaning someone that basically covered your debt, you know, and Yahweh Shai was the one that covered the debt of the nation of Israel. And what were we in debt in, man? We were in debt in sin, man. Our debt was sin because we transgressed against the Heavenly Father. But Yahweh Shai was sent and he covered, he became a cloak, a covering for our debt. And he basically he did away with our debt, man. So that's the spiritual aspect of what a surety means, And then today, um, the Spirit hopped on me, the inspiration of Yahweh Bashimashai, the Lord inspired me to get into the second segment of what it would mean um, to in the carnal sense, in the tangible sense, and all right, Lord willing, this lesson will be edifying, man, edifying and exhorting because that's what these lessons are about. All right. So like we went into that word surety, um, it means uh, security against loss or damage, security for a payment. All right. Now, the scriptures also deal with financial principles, man. When we're amongst each other, when you're amongst your kinsman, your neighbor, which your neighbor is an Israelite, is another Israelite, man. It's not a heathen, you know. Your neighbor is another Israelite, and that's why when scriptures speak about doing good to your neighbor and so on and so forth, that's speaking about your fellow Israelite brothers, man, and sisters. All right, so the Lord laid down um, uh, laws on how to deal amongst each other, and a part of those laws of dealing amongst each other is financial principles, man. A way to go about certain financial situations, right? And that ranges. I'm just touching a small part of it, man. You know, and that's dealing with surety, lending and borrowing money. Okay, that's this aspect of this lesson. All right. All right, I'm gonna jump straight into it and begin with Matthew chapter 12 and verse 28. Because it's very important to keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our abilities, man. The laws are not done away with. Like our Lord Yahweh Shai said, he didn't come to destroy the law, or the prophets. He didn't come to destroy it, man, but he came to fulfill it. So Yahweh Shai didn't come to say, okay, the law is done. You don't have to keep it anymore. No, he didn't do that. You know, the law is still in effect. The only difference is we're not justified by how well we can keep the law. That's not what's gonna save you. You're not measured based on how or how well you keep the law. That's not what it is. It's the faith that you have in Yahweh Shai. That's what's gonna justify you in this go round. You know, but you still have to exercise the fact that you still have to exercise and rehearse keeping the commandments, man. Which that's also a part of your faith too, because if you believe in Yahweh Shai, you're gonna try to do the best of your best to please Him, and a part of pleasing Him is keeping your the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, man. Which shows you of which shows that you have a sincere heart, man. You know. So this is Matthew chapter 12, Mark chapter 12 and verse 28. It says, "And one of the scribes came, and having heard them reasoning together, and perceiving that he had answered them well, asked him, which is the first commandment of all?" Right? So this is basically a dialogue between Yahweh Shai and the scribes, you know? And this is one of the topics that came up, the commandments. All right? Verse 29, it says, and Yahushua answered him, the first commandment of all commandments is, hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one Lord. You know, thou shalt love thy Lord, so like thou shalt love the Lord thy power with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. All right, so that is the greatest commandment, man, to fear and to love Yahweh with all our power and mind and soul, man. You know, so that's the first commandment. You know, verse 31, and the second is like, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. So Yahweh Shai basically said, you know, he summarized the law, you know, he summarized the law onto these two, man. Into loving the Lord, Yahweh, with all your power, might, and soul, and then loving your brother as yourself, you know, because there's also another precept that speaks about how, you know, I'm just gonna matter of fact, I'm gonna get it, you know, because it's better to bring out the precept. Come on, this is the book of Matthew, 22, verse 40, and it says, right, matter of fact, I'm starting at 37. Yahushua said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy power with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and prophets, man. So these two commandments, loving the Lord Yahweh with all your power, you know, with all your soul and your mind, and treating your brother as yourself, that's basically a summary of the entire laws, man. The 613 laws, man, and more. That's basically a summary of it. Because when you go into the law, you know, when you go into some of the laws, you know, it's basically dealing with you, how you treat your brother, man, and you having a reverence to the Lord. You know, you respecting the Lord above everything else. You know, that's what it basically sums up to, man. You know, so it's important to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You know, you see. So, and a part of the law hanging on those two, you know, you treating your brother as yourself. You know, segueing into the lesson that I'm gonna get into. Um, a part of treating your brother like you would treat yourself is how you deal with him financially. You know, money you owe him, and money, just things like that, man. Matter of fact, let's see. Let me see if there's more. Con, I'm gonna jump straight into it. This is Sirach chapter 29, and I'm gonna start out verse 1. It says, "He that is merciful will lend unto his neighbor, and he that strengtheneth his hand keepeth the commandments." Right? So if you're merciful, if you have a form of mercy, you're gonna lend to your neighbor in the time of trouble, right? That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. You know, if a brother, if your neighbor comes to you and needs help, financially, all right? It says, "Lend to thy neighbor in the time of his need, and pay thou thy neighbor again in due season," right? So, you can lend to your brother, you can lend money to a brother, if you have the necessary if you basically have money in your pocket, man, you're gonna help a brother. You're not gonna hold that money back. If you're able to help, you help. If not, you let the brother know you can't help him. You see? But a part of helping the brother, you know, that's also gonna build a relationship, man. Because if you lend to a brother money, if you lend a brother money, you know, and you basically, let him take his time paying it back, that's, you're not rushing him, you're not, you're not adding taxes, you know, that's gonna build a relationship between you and the brother, man. You know, as long as the brother pays that money back, basically, but there's no rush to him paying it back. That's a form of you um, treating him as yourself. Because if you were in that situation, you wouldn't want the money rushed. You wouldn't want the brother to rush you and say, yo, hurry up, I need my money back. Verse 3, it says, keep thy word and deal faithfully with him, and thou shalt always find the thing that is necessary for thee. Right? So if somebody lends you money, if a brother lends you money, you have to, you saying you're gonna pay it back, you have to be faithful unto him, man. And pay it, and pay it, and basically live up to your word, man. You know, you know, and then that way trust is built between you and that brother. Because if another situation occurs where you're in a ditch, and you come to the brother again, the brother's gonna be willing to help you, knowing that he's gonna get that money back, basically, because he can trust you with his finances, man. All right, and that's how we're supposed to deal as Israelites, man. You know, but in this day and age, this thing is not, it's not in effect, man. This is not the mindset of the Israelites, man. Because I can attest to this personally, and the Spirit of the Lord allowed me to be able to see, you know, two different examples of lending money. You see what I'm saying? You know, and both results were different, man. All right. So, I'm gonna, because the Lord allowed me to see this to bring it out, to edify it, man. So the first time, I lended a certain amount of money, which was not a lot of money, to somebody that had asked me, somebody, a friend of mine, not a friend of mine, but someone that I knew in the world that I recently ran into, and we spoke a bit, we spoke or whatever, we caught up, and then he happened to have asked me for money, a small amount though, for a situation that he was dealing with. You see? And he told me, and this was all through text, which that was me not paying attention, but the situation had to happen for me to learn from it, right? So, anyways, he asked me for a particular amount of money, which was a small amount, and him telling me that he was gonna pay it back the same day, I trusted his word. But this was a nigga, man, a gremlin, but we haven't spoken a while or whatever, you know. So I thought, yo, this guy might have changed, or things are different, but this is still the same grimy ass nigga, man. You know. So I ended up, lending him a small amount of money, right? And then later on that day, I didn't get a text back, man. I didn't get a text back saying, wow, here's your money back, here's your bread back. I instead had to step forward and say, yo, hey man, what's up? What's going on, yo? Are you gonna pay me that back? I wasn't urging him, but I was just reminding him, yo, you said you were gonna pay the money back, so I'm wondering, are you gonna send that anytime soon? Left me on scene. Left me on scene. Didn't respond to the message. One day later, I said, okay, cool. 2 days later, I said, I didn't text him or nothing. I understood what it was. I said, okay, this guy can't be trusted because obviously, look, how you gonna say something and not live up to it, right? And then I believe a couple weeks later, the Lord had presented me with another situation, but this situation was different. This situation was somebody at my workplace, some Nigerian guy, an older fellow that has kids and a wife and kids in a house, and so on and so forth. And I'm cool with him. I'm cool with him. He's an older man. I talk to him. We jest or whatever. We talk about the Nigerian culture and things like that. But I don't get too spiritual with this, because there's no point. But yeah, I'm cool with him, to a certain degree. And I haven't known him that long, but I know that he's like an honest man, based off the conversations I've been had with this guy. All right. And then one day, This is weeks after this guy, this gremlin, basically, you know, finessed me or whatever, right? You know, a couple of weeks later, because the Lord presented me with this situation, and the Lord wanted me basically to judge and see. The Lord wanted to see how I was gonna deal with this situation. Knowing what happened the last time, that type of or that similar type of situation happened, man. So this guy came, he pulled me to the side, this old the Nigerian guy pulled me to the side, talked to me. He said, explained to me his situation, broke it down, and I could see in his face. It was like, yo, bro, I could feel in his spirit that he was sincere with what he was asking, and and what sold me with him being sincere. He said, yo, listen, man, I really need this, I need your help, man, But at first I was hesitant. I was like, yo, cause I did something like this before, and it didn't go well. But then he said, I said that in my head, you know. But then he said something that sold me. He said, yo, listen, if you can't help me, it's all good, man, But if you could, this would really help me, and I'm gonna pay you back. And even if you want, man, I can give you, you could put taxes on my, if I don't pay back on time. That's how I knew he was serious, man. And then I said, okay, threw up a quick, I said, Lord Yahweh Shemashai, if I, let my judgment be, a good judgment by giving this man the money, man. And guess what? Which that was a larger amount of money, Yeah, I gave it to him, and guess what? The exact day he said he was gonna pay it back, this man paid it back. This man paid it back the exact day, early in the morning. You see? So that showed me, that I need to learn to judge situations better, And if I had read this precept, or but everything in due season, right? But that's dealing with finances, right? Amongst you, knowing to whom you're doing good. That's what scriptures say as well, right? Know to whom thou doest good. All right. So if I knew that this gremlin was a gremlin and he wasn't sincere, I wouldn't have given him that money. You see, and the thing is, it happened through, the phone. It wasn't we weren't there in the physical, but this other account, the Lord made it where I was actually there to basically to sense this guy's spirit, to see his spirit, and how sincere it was, right? So let's continue on in Sirach 29 and verse 4. It says, many, when a thing was lent them, reckoned it to be found, and put them to trouble that helped them, man. So when somebody's lent something, this is the scripture showing you the same thing I was going into, right? So there's many where if you lend them something, they think they found it, it's theirs, right? They think it's theirs, it's their money. They got borrowed a particular amount of money, now they think it's theirs and they can run off with it. Which that's gonna put the one that helped them in trouble, because this guy is trusting you with that money and you ran away with his money. He's trusting you to borrow particular money that he's gonna get back. He's helping you out and you ran off on him. That's gonna leave him in trouble. All right, verse 5, it says, till he had received, he will kiss a man's hand, and for his neighbor's money he will speak submissively. But when he should repay, he will prolong the time and return words of grief and complain of the time. So that's what that gremlin did, man. He spoke. He basically, he phrased the text, like submissively. He came humbly, like, through text, But guess what? When the time came for him to really pay it back, when he got that money, he wasn't there. He wasn't there. And that's why I deaded it right away, because I already knew what was gonna come out of it. What are you talking about? What money? You know how Gremlin Jakes get, man. Verse 6, it says, if he prevail, he will hardly receive the half, man, and he will count as if he had found it. If not, he had deprived him of his money, and he had gotten him an enemy without cause. he payeth him with cursing and railings, and for honor he will pay him disgrace, right? So let's read that verse 6 in the GMT. It says, if the lender insists on being paid, he can count himself lucky to get back half. So dealing with gremlins and people that can't be trusted, which is the majority of these people in the world, if you lend them money and you insist, yo, let me get that bread back, you'll be lucky. You're lucky to get even half of it back, because you're not dealing with an honest man. It says, if he doesn't insist, the borrower has robbed him and made an unnecessary enemy. All the lender will get from him are curses, insults, and disrespect, but never any gratitude, man. So you're not gonna get gratitude from someone that can't be trusted, especially gremlins, man. You know. And I didn't get gratitude from that guy. He didn't say the water. He didn't say, yo, you helped me, But the other Nigerian guy, man, yo, he said, yo, thank you, I appreciate you, man. Gave me a hug, So there's signs, man. And like the brother Napash always goes into, you being a judge, you have to be able to judge between matters. And okay, this matter, okay, I'm gonna deal with it like this. That's what this truth is all about, man. Right? Because scriptures speak about that we are gods, right? Meaning most high. And gods judge situations, man. So we gotta exercise that too. To judgment. Verse 7, I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, man. Many therefore have refused to lend for other man's ill dealing, fearing to be defrauded, right? So this is what happened when the Nigerian man came up to me. I was like, yo, bro, I was kind of hesitant because somebody already dealt ill with me and defrauded me, right? I'm like, yo, I can't really trust these people, But then I had to look deeper and put my feelings aside and say, okay, this guy's actually sincere and he actually needs help, and he looks like, yo, he's sincere, he's gonna give that money back, right? Verse 8, yet have thou patience with a man in a poor estate, and delay not to show him mercy. So that's what I did, right? Through the Spirit. I was like, okay, yo, bro, But that's why you also have to throw up prayers with certain situations, man. Because you need the Lord, the Spirit to help you out too. In every situation. You need the Spirit to help you out. You need Yahweh Shemashah to help you out, so things don't go left, man. It says, yet have thou mercy with a man in poor estate, and delay not to show him mercy. So I showed him mercy by saying, okay, I showed the Nigerian guy mercy, by saying, okay, yo, bro, I trust you, and I'm not gonna add no tax. You just give it to me back whenever you can. But he set a date, and he said, and he paid it on that date. So I said, okay, cut, so I have respect towards our man now, Verse 9, help the poor for the commandment's sake, and turn him not away because of his poverty. Lose thy money for thy brother and thy friend, and let it not rust under stone to be lost, right? So, you could lose your money to your brother, man. Especially in being the truth, the brothers around you, because, them, they could be trusted. They're not operating under the vibration of the world. The brothers are operating through the fear of Yahweh Bashimashai, knowing that whatever they do, the Lord is watching, especially dealing with a brother. So, you shouldn't be afraid to lose your money to a brother, but if you have the power to lend a brother money, that's why it says, let it not rust under stone, right? To be lost, because you might have money just sitting there doing nothing, and you don't want to help a brother. That's not right. If you have enough bread sitting there, you could put it to use basically, and not let it rust and be lost. Fade away. Verse 11, lay up thy treasure according to the commandments of the Most High, and it shall bring thee more profit than gold. Right. So that's a part of you laying up your treasure by laying down your life, or letting a brother hold a particular amount of money. That's a treasure in heaven, because the Lord is watching that and seeing you treat the brother as yourself, helping the brother in a rough situation, knowing that if you were in that situation, you would expect the same help back, right? Right? It says, verse 12, shut up alms in thy storehouses, and it shall deliver thee from all affliction. It shall fight for thee against thine enemies, better than a mighty shield and strong spear, right? So that's alms, right? Verse 14, an honest man is surety for his neighbor, but he that is impudent will forsake him, man. Forget not the friendship of thy surety, for he had given his life for thee, right? So a surety, like we went into, that's a covering, someone that pays your debt, helps you out, basically, you know? You see? So don't forget that if you have, don't forget about that. Because that brother is basically his life, well, not life saving, but the bread that he worked hard for, he's giving that to you. He's entrusting you with that, man. You know? Verse 16, a sinner will overthrow the good estate of a surety, and he that is of an unthankful mind will leave him in danger that delivered him. It says, suretyship had undone many of good estate, and shake them as a wave of the sea. Mighty men hath it driven from their houses, so that they wandered among strange nations, man. Let's read that in the GNT verse 18. It says, Sirach 29 verse 18, influential people have lost their homes over it and have had to go wandering in foreign countries. A sinner who hopes to make a profit by guaranteeing a loan is going to find himself involved in lawsuits. So help your neighbor as much as you can, but protect yourself against the dangers involved, right? So, you're supposed to help your neighbor as much as you can, but you also have to protect yourself, knowing your limits, knowing how much you have, knowing how much you can lend, man. Not overdoing it just because you're trying to be over righteous. You know, you help to the best of your ability. Even like giving alms, you give alms to the best of your ability. You don't just give your whole paycheck, half your paycheck, and now you're suffering throughout the week, throughout the next 2 weeks, waiting for that payment back, to get paid again. Yeah, man. So with that, I'm gonna end it off there. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakadosh. Once again, double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders in Great Millstone, and shalom to the elect. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Until next time, shalom.